Hello and welcome to LIPA Come Together podcast. My name's Cherise Weaver and I'm the Head of Equality, Diversity and Inclusion at the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts, or as it's better known, LIPA. If you're not familiar with LIPA, we are a world-leading provider of university-level performing and creative arts training, an international community of creators, performers, technicians, filmmakers and business people who learn by working together on fully realised projects and productions. During this series of podcasts, we'll be celebrating the creative work and cultural scene in Liverpool and here in LIPA. We'll be chatting to cultural organisations and leaders, artists and performers as we consider how art can make a difference to all of our lives. Hi and welcome to LIPA Come Together podcast, and today we have the great, amazing and talented Dave Mac from Africa Oyé, One Fell Swoop, Melotone and also now a record label. So Dave, just tell us, what don't you do?
There's a few things I don't do. I like to keep busy though, yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it. So the way we kick off this podcast is with some quick fire questions. So are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
One meal, I'd have to say curry, I think.
Okay.
And probably a dal, I'm not sure, but curry of some sort.
I do like a dal. It is nice. So what is your favourite memory of Liverpool?
That is too many favourite memories, to be honest. I can't really answer that question. I've been here for 20 odd years now, so biggest chunk of my life. One memory.
I'm going to put it this way. What's your favourite memory then of Africa Oyé?
My favourite memory of Africa Oyé is probably just a few years back, walking across the park. The sun was shining. You just hear the music, and you're just sort of walking through that park and just seeing all them happy, smiling people. It was amazing.
That sounds like a perfect day.
Yeah.
There's a song that goes with that. I'm not going to sing it because I'm not a singer. Okay, so what sets your soul on fire, Dave?
Sets my soul on fire? Great question. I'd say probably a combination of, I love music, I love art especially, but probably people. I just love people, so yeah.
Wow. And what is something that people frequently get wrong about you the first time they meet you?
They get wrong about me.
You did just tell us a story about John Barnes. I think that's
one
a
person
good one.
Although ironically, you got it right as it turned out, yeah. What do people get wrong about me? I think people think I wear this hat in the house all the time. I do take it off sometimes, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I only know you with the flat cap on, to be fair.
That's it. When I'm out and about, I've always got a hat on, so yeah.
Do you look like a completely different person when you take your hat off?
Massive bunch of hair under there.
Yeah. Yeah, so the story about John Barnes was he couldn't tell your age because of your beard.
Yeah, that's right. He said he never knows how old people are when they've got a beard, and he couldn't guess how old I was.
It's kind of true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. So let's get into it. So I'd like to know a little bit about your role at Africa Oyé and how you got involved, and maybe just if there's any opportunities coming up, and anything else that you want to share really about the festival.
Yeah, sure. So how I got involved with Oyé is actually just after finishing studying here in Liverpool. Myself and a couple of friends, we had a sort of a small nascent business that we'd just started up, and
a nascent business.
Emerging.
Okay. Learn a new word every day. Nascent. I like
Coming
that.
Up, yeah. Very, very new business. And our background, we'd worked with a lot of sort of club nights and music nights and stuff. We were doing a lot of flyering and postering for those. And we'd seen that the festival was going on, and we just thought we'd be able to help get the attendance up a bit. So got in touch with the guys at Oyé, which was Paul and Kenny there then. And to be honest, they took a chance on us, and a friend and I literally pushed the shopping trolley around Smithdown, Lodge Lane, Lark Lane, and letterbox everywhere with flyers for the festival. And yeah, it worked. More people turned up that year. And to be honest, I've been working with Oyé ever since.
So what year was that?
Could be...
Or maybe how many years ago was that?
2003 that was, so just over 20 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
And then I guess since then I've kind of grown up with the festival, and my career's kind of grown alongside the festival. So, we're still a really small team, but now I work very closely with Paul, the artistic director. I kind of head up the marketing and publicity for the festival. work on a lot of the partnership gigs, and yeah, just get involved in all sorts of things to do with the festival these days. Yeah.
So what are some of the changes that you've seen over that? That's like 2 decades, isn't it? That's a long time.
Yeah.
So to go from pushing flyers to now being like, top management, I mean, you must have seen some amazing things over that time.
I mean, to start with, just some like incredible music. I mean, when you were saying about the memory before, one of my favourite other Oyé memories was seeing Tinari when playing back in, I think it was 2004, 2005, and that was the first time they'd come to the UK. It was amazing. I mean, probably the biggest change is seeing the festival move. It used to be in the little field up by the Palm House, and then in 2008 it moved to the field where it still is now. And then since moving there, it's just been a joy to see the festival sort of blossom, and each year more and more people come in, and now you're seeing like generations of families coming. There's people who used to come to the festival as kids who've since performed on the main stage. So it's been really beautiful to see the development.
Yeah.
And just see the festival grow and blossom.
Yeah, and also you being a big part of that, really, to go from, as I say, just pushing flyers to where you're at now, and then, starting your own businesses up and stuff like that. And I suppose when you're involved in a festival that is that big as well, it will give you ideas as well of, okay, well, what else can I be doing? Because I've got so many skills and stuff like that. I mean, I'm presuming maybe you had things already running alongside that.
I mean, yeah, kind of. It was all running in parallel, really. So we were running like a small business at the time, and then we were working with Africa Oyé. So it kind of, I guess they've all just run in parallel over that period. So yeah, the business that we were running was a sort of a marketing, publicity business. We were doing those sort of things for Africa Oyé, and then I was doing a few little bits on the side, like music stuff as a bit of a hobby, really, as well. So it kind of all just dovetailed really nicely, and I guess one thing benefits the other, yeah.
So do you play an instrument or...?
Oh, I can fumble my way around a guitar. I wouldn't call myself a musician. I can get away with 12-bar blues, that's about it. Yeah.
So before we move on to some of your businesses as well, if you want to just tell the listeners maybe about some opportunities as well.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously we LIPA now sponsor Africa Oyé, which is amazing.
Yeah. And thank you for your support. Yeah.
Yeah. And this year we will have a stall or a tent. And we will be getting more involved every year and just developing and building on that partnership and that relationship, which is great, because to have such an amazing festival in our city, on our doorstep, and be able to partner, I think really does build good relationships. And also it's a great way for our students to be involved in what you guys are doing, and vice versa as well. I know we're going to have yourself and Paul coming in to speak to the students. And I think it's good in the way of being able to give them that inspiration and motivation to say, look, we've done this, we've built it from the ground up. If you guys have got ideas and stuff like that, just have a go, just put it out there, and I'm going to keep going back to this story of you flying now. That's what's going to stick with me, because it just shows you that you can go from something so small that can just become something like, so amazing, which is what Africa Oyé is. So, yeah, if you want to just talk a little bit about opportunities.
Yeah, opportunities. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities. And as you said, we've just before I get into those, I think there's people who've studied at LIPA who've, performed on the main stage. There's people who've DJ'd at the festival. They've been involved with the Oyé Active Zone, the dance. We've also had, former graduates who've been working on the sound and tech side of things as well. So there's all those kind of opportunities that people can apply for. I mean, the lineup is done for this year, but keep in touch for slots next year, whether it be live music, DJing, and probably, the stat yourself, it's something like, is it 8 people off stage for every 1 person on stage or something like that? So, there's always all these sort of other roles behind the scenes, like artist liaison, working on the procurement or sort of site management stuff, tech, stage. So there's all that. But then in terms of this year's festival, still a few more opportunities. There's an opportunity to volunteer. I mean, we work really hard all year round and to try and keep the festival free, and that's kind of our big aim really, is to keep Africa Oyé free and open to everybody. So this year we're looking for volunteers to come along on the festival weekend, and those roles are a mixture of fundraising, so it might be going around like shaking collection buckets or tapping card readers to try and get some donations off the audience. Also, lots and lots of surveys that we have to do. We sort of survey hundreds of people at the festival to get information about what we can do better, provide that information to the Arts Council as well, and get feedback there. So there's definitely opportunities for that this year. We also have some training opportunities as well, some around the festival this year, and then there'll be some more stuff later in the year and into next year with some more office-based roles as well. And that would be around all sorts of different things, from marketing and publicity, working on Africa Oyé's radio show, working in the office and just sort of seeing some of the like event management and sort of the administration that goes on behind that, and also working on maybe some of the procurement side of things, the sort of site-specific stuff as well. So plenty of stuff coming up there.
Yeah. I mean, that is quite overwhelming, isn't it, really? There's so much that goes into a festival that is, you know, of that size. And just to also say that when you was talking about ex-LIPA students, and last year's one of your main artists was an ex-LIPA student who also was one of our first guests on the podcast, phoning in from Nigeria, and that again was the brilliant talented musician Shuwen Kuti, Fela Kuti's son, and that was a great podcast as well, because
it was, yeah.
Well, anyone that didn't know would think we were sitting in the same room. Because we just kind of, the way you and I are talking now, it was just so comfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
And how it like came full circle as well, like you say, the fact that he'd studied in Liverpool and then, you know, probably like 15, 20 years later came back and headlined the festival. It's really nice to see that come full circle.
Was something. Yeah. It really, really was. But just to move on to some of your own businesses now, and just if you just want to tell us a little bit about, you know, it's One Fell Swoop, isn't it? A Melatonin?
Yeah, so One Fell Swoop, that's a marketing, publicity and events agency. And actually quite a lot of the work we do with Africa Oyé runs through that business. So we kind of function as an outsourced either marketing department, PR department or event management department for various organisations. As that business, we've been trading for over a decade now. It's a small team, dedicated team, but we work with, like I say, Africa Oyé, but we also do some work with MILAP, who are an Indian arts development charity trust. We do a lot of work with MILAP. We also do some work with the Liverpool Arab Arts Festival, La Feria and Luma Creations. So really, we kind of positioned ourselves in the sort of arts and cultural sector. And we offer services where we can kind of take, you know, we can work as a fully outsourced team, running it almost like from a director level down to delivery for some people, and that's kind of what we do more for like Africa Oyé. Whereas for some other clients, we literally fill the gaps in the requirements that they've got. So it might just be some event support or some PR support. But we're really blessed to have such a great range of clients. I mean, we're working this year with Writing on the Wall, doing some event stuff with them. So it's really exciting company to work for, and it's a small team but very dedicated team. And talking of opportunities, it's probably worth just saying we will have a job coming up later this year. So keep an eye on our website, onefellswoop.co.uk, or on the socials, whatever. But that job will be advertised in the coming weeks. So we'll have a marketing role coming up later this year.
Brilliant. That's really good to know, because as I was saying earlier as well, some of our students are going to be graduating very soon, so they are going to be on the lookout for work.
Perfect sort of role for a graduate, yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're looking to get into the industry, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, if you want to send them details over and we'll share them.
That'd be brilliant, thank you, yeah.
Definitely. So tell me a little bit about Melatonin as well, because that's more on the music side, isn't it?
Yeah, so I guess Melatonin kind of, again, running parallel with everything else, and it started off as a bit of a hobby, really. I just decided to put on the sort of gig that I'd want to go to. And I've said this many times in things before. At the time, if you were watching live music, it was kind of in traditional sort of live music venues. And what we were trying to do was take it into a different space. So we worked with a lot of places like art galleries, cafes, like quirky little spaces. And then we were trying to present, I guess, acoustic-based music that you'd sit down to watch. Candles on the tables, intimate venues. And really, but we kind of took a lot of influence from dance music culture, because often when you see live music promoted, it's all about the headline band and it's all about that, whereas what we tried to, it was almost take the model of a club night. And the aim was for people to try and trust us and what we were doing. So it was, it wasn't necessarily about the headline band. It was, we'd have 2 or 3 artists playing, we'd have some DJs playing like really laid back stuff. We'd always work with local illustrators or artists to design the flyers for us. And, you know, we see all those elements and the people who come to the event as all part of it. So we tried to look at it quite holistically. And, yeah, Mellowtone's been going for nearly 20 years now. So purposefully kept it relatively small and, you know, still working in quite small venues. But, yeah, that's been running since 2004, yeah.
Wow, I really like the sound of that. I'm just wondering if any of the venues, maybe if I've been to anything, would I remember?
Quite probably. We've done, I think, I can't remember, I'll have to work it out, but I think we've used about 100 venues now over the time. So some traditional music venues, but yeah, like we started off in the View 2, which was the art gallery on Matthew Street.
Yeah.
So we started there and then, yeah, I think probably about 100 venues we've done now over the years. So, yeah.
So from Mellowtone as well, you've also got a record label, is it now?
That's right.
Yeah. So how did that come about?
I think, well, I say the club night Mellowtone, it started off as a bit of a hobby. We weren't really doing it for the money. It was just, you know, a little something to enjoy. And then it got to a point where we actually started making a little bit of money from it. So we thought we need some new folly to waste that money on. So we started a little record label off the side of Mellowtone and tried to release music from Liverpool-based artists that kind of fit with the music policy of what we were doing with the live music. So yeah, boutique label. We reissued a record by Edgar Jones. Done a few records with Nick Ellis. A couple of records with Seafoam Green. I've also worked quite a lot with Rags Nordset, who actually a former graduate of here as well. Yeah. So, yeah, I've worked with Rags for many years as well, releasing her stuff.
I feel like these graduates get everywhere, don't they?
They do, yeah. I should have come here myself. Yeah.
It's a good thing, though. It really, really is. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, yeah, worked with some other songwriters. So we kind of launched that to coincide with the 10th birthday of Mellowtone, and we put out a compilation. And to be honest, it was more just to mark the 10 years, and we put, you know, tracks from artists who'd been part of the journey. And we were quite surprised when we sold enough of them to have a little bit of money in the bank to do something else. So we just carried on from there, yeah.
So is the record label actually called then Mellowtone?
Mellowtone Records,
yeah. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it?
It's currently on a little hiatus at the moment. We just paused it around the time of the pandemic. So we're looking to get that back up and running again sort of in the next year or so. Everything that we've released so far, if it's not sold out, is still available on the website though, yeah.
Well, you probably need to get in to LIPA to come to I think it's called The Tube.
Yeah,
music. You said you've been before as well. Yeah. So you need to start scouting for them students for making them records. So this is the great thing about having this link is that you know, it's having the access to be able to come and see what the students are doing and get involved and stuff like that. And as I say, you're going to be coming in to speak to the students. And obviously, I'm sure you're going to be talking about your record label and, as I say, all the great things that you're doing. I think today has been a really good day of sharing all of these amazing things that you're doing across the city. One of the things you haven't talked about, because you're not actually a Scouser, you're not from Liverpool.
No.
So how did you land in Liverpool?
Well, for full disclosure, my mum's a Scouser. So
okay, we'll let you off.
Yeah, is that all right? I'm very accepted. No, so I came to study originally, and I studied at John Moores, and that was in the year 2000. And then so I never kind of really planned to stay, if I'm honest. When we finished university, just kind of wanted to stay. There wasn't really that much going on in terms of jobs that we were interested in. And that's kind of why we ended up just working for ourselves, really. So it wasn't necessarily a conscious decision to set a business. It was more an attempt of avoiding a proper job, I guess, which has then turned into more of a proper job.
So you say we, is that you and your business partner or your I don't know?
Yeah, business partner, yeah.
Okay.
So Rich, my business partner, we've worked together on and off for probably over 20 years now. So I've worked for him, he's worked for me, and then currently, it's myself and Rich who run One Fell Swoop.
So did you go to university together?
No, weirdly, we actually met flyering, would you believe? So, and he was the person I pushed the trolley around with. That was us two. Yeah.
Wow.
But we when we were students, he was running club nights and stuff, and I was working for a club in town, and we just used to be them sort of people you'd see outside the Students' Union shoving flyers in your hand, and we just got chatting doing that, and then we've worked together pretty much ever since.
I reckon for the past 20 years, I've probably gone past you loads of times,
Yeah.
flyering and stuff.
Probably, yeah.
So, Dave, I know there's another venture that you're involved in as well, on top of all the other things that you're doing. So, tell me a little bit about the art stuff that you're involved in. Red House, is it?
Yeah, Red House. Yeah, that's a gallery based over in Yorkshire that's run by one of my cousins, and I've kind of been involved with Red House since it started. Helped my cousin when we were setting up the business, and then I took a few years off from that while he was growing it, and then as the business became more successful, I got back involved with it. So I probably, on average, work probably about a day a week with Richard, my cousin. And yeah, Red House is a gallery that sort of specialises in contemporary, modern and pop art. It's a commercial gallery, so everything's for sale, but it's very much rooted in popular culture. So we work with a lot of sort of like big name artists, and then sort of a lot of emerging artists as well. But it's very much linked to popular culture. So one of the current things we've got going on is a big exhibition down in London at the brand new Gibson Garage, which is an exhibition of photography by Gerard Mankiewicz, who's an incredible photographer, and his work is kind of like a who's who of the last 50 years of British music. So that's on show in London at the moment. And then the gallery itself is in Harrogate, and the current exhibition there is Beatles photography. So
we've gone full circle
back to Liverpool, yeah. Yeah, we're all massive Beatles fans at the gallery.
Yeah.
And there's some photographs by a chap called Tom Murray, who was on the Mad Day Out, which was 1968, in the midst of recording the White Album. So some incredible photography over there as well, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, is there anything that you are not involved in? Because I feel like you're involved in everything from music to art to festivals. I mean, you literally are involved in everything.
I mean, I think the cliches are true, aren't they? Variety is the spice. I think I'd get bored if I did the same thing all the time. So I like to, be involved in lots of different things, and that keeps me stimulated and keeps me interested as well. But it is a bit of that jack of all trades, isn't it? But I don't know. Someone told me that. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if you've heard this, but that phrase, jack of all trades,
master of none.
Yeah. Someone said it's actually a misquote, and it's mastered by none, which actually means that you'll end up working for yourself. So maybe that's true. I don't know.
I really like that. I need to write that down.
I like it. I don't know if it's true, but yeah.
Well, I don't know if you noticed when I said jack of all trades, I didn't finish it.
Purposely,
because I think when you say master of none, it's almost like a little bit of an insult or a diss, and it's not meant to be. Because I think as a creative, and I'm involved in lots of different things as well, I think you just have that mind that you get bored in just one area or one thing. I mean, it's not like that for everyone, but I know it is for me personally.
For me, certainly it is, yeah. I think I'd rather work lots and lots of hours doing lots of different things than work, fewer hours doing something that I was, found quite dry,
Yeah, so I totally get it. But I do think most creatives do work on that level. And I think as we move on, what I'm noticing, because they had that thing, triple threat, isn't it? Where it's like dancer, actor, everything. And now there's a big thing around musical theatre because that's got everything in it. Yeah. But then I think what we're realising now as well is that all the skills... And so when I trained as an actress, and I started off as a dancer and then went into acting, but all the skills that I learned, they are all transferable skills. Like voice technique and stuff like that, because you can take each component and use it in different ways. And I think with the different things that you use, you found what you're really good at, and you've kind of found different creative areas that you can harness, and they're all so different, art, music, but why not?
Yeah, and
because that's the world we're living in. Why not?
Completely. And then there is, even though they're so different, there is sort of a lot of synergy as well. So like people you meet through one element of your work, it'll in 5 years' time, it'll be you'll cross paths with him in the other side as well. So I think,
well, to be fair, you've just proved it, because we went full circle with the Beatles, with LIPA students, and that's the thing, is that you continue to just go round in circles, but we just hope that you evolve as you're going round. And then
at least the circle's going up like that.
Yeah. Well, it's been great speaking to you today.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Dave.
Thank you.